when you're doing landscape, you have weather, you have the gear that you have, just being prepared for anything and everything being thrown at you. I've had animals run after me.
Hey, everybody. Here we are again with the Black Female Landscape and Nature Photogs, the Tog Talk. And we have with us Miss Vicky Thompson coming from Sacramento, California, right?
Yes, Sacramento.
How are you?
I am great. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I am doing good. Excited to talk to you. And it's always great to have like that virtual visual.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
We spend the last few years looking at little icons on Instagram.
Absolutely. Yep.
She lives, she breathes.
I'm alive.
Well, we'll go ahead and get started here. So why don't you tell our viewers a little bit about you? You're in Sacramento. Were you born and raised in Sacramento?
No, I wasn't. I originated on the East Coast, all the way on the East Coast, and we moved around a lot as kids, and my family ended up here in California, and now I'm in Sacramento, California.
Not bad coming from the East Coast.
East Coast, West Coast, yeah.
Where the East Coast were you at?
North Carolina.
Okay, North Carolina.
Yep, exactly. All
right. So with you being in Sacramento, when did photography become a thing for you?
Photography probably started for me when I was in middle school. I just liked capturing moments with friends, with family. I just always loved to just capture a moment and just save the moment. Back then it was on film. We didn't have digital cameras. And so just being able to capture a moment and then hold that moment in your hand was just something that I just hooked me in, and I've been doing photography since then. So
when you started with the film camera, what were your subjects that you were capturing? Was it people, or to kind of step us through that?
It was mostly just candids, just getting people just in their everyday life, documenting the lives of people around me. I didn't really get into landscape until I was an adult.
Okay. And what was it about landscape that you were like, okay, people, I'm done with you now?
Probably just being able to see a beautiful sight and wanting to live in that moment. If I take a photo of it, I can live in that moment forever, basically.
All right. What's been your biggest challenge with landscape?
The biggest challenge is probably being prepared for the different elements. When you're doing landscape, you have weather, you have the gear that you have, just being prepared for anything and everything being thrown at you. I've had animals run after me.
Really? Share that.
It was just, it wasn't like a wolf or something. Now that would be a story. It's probably just like, dogs roaming around and you're trying to capture something and a dog sees you and it's like, you know what, this is my space right here. So I'm going to have to protect my territory. So just let them have a space.
So did you hurry up and grab your gear?
Yeah, I had to grab everything and just, kind of just be still, let them know I'm not a threat. And if they're just looking at me, just look at them, back away. And when I'm far enough away, just run.
Okay. All right.
You gotta be prepared. You gotta have on those running shoes.
To ask Vicky what running shoes she wears. So when you're talking about challenge and the weather and all of that, what was that moment? Step us through when you had a moment with an image that you set out to capture. The weather was like, but you got that picture.
That's the story I'm going to tell is not really a success story. I guess maybe in the end it will be, but my most challenging time was photographing the Milky Way. My husband and I went out on top of a mountain. So we had to trek up there, and the conditions were just absolutely just frigid conditions, and I was not prepared.
Oh,
I didn't have warm clothing. I didn't have all of the gear that I needed to capture it, and it was an absolutely miserable experience. We came down from the mountain. We were out there for hours. Just, I mean, it was beautiful. It was gorgeous, and it was something to behold. But after we came down, looked at all of my images, like nothing came out. And I think it was just because the experience was just such a challenging experience that I didn't really capture what I wanted to capture. And that was the moment that I almost quit photography after seeing that. And I came back and I just told like all my photographer friends and just all of my friends, you know what? This is not for me. Photography just may not be for me. And then the outpouring of love that I received and encouragement, it was unexpected, and it was the catalyst I needed to get back out there and just get through all the challenges.
so did you decide to do that trek again?
We haven't done that exact one. We have done some similar treks, but not that exact one. I'm not sure. That's probably something that I should do so I can conquer that mountain.
You have to.
I know.
Yes.
That's true. That's true. Thank you for that encouragement. I do need to do that.
You know, you went out there, you tried it, you already said, you're like, okay, I wasn't prepared with the weather and the clothing. You know, the higher elevation you go up in California, especially in NorCal, you know, we know it's like, whoo, you know,
yeah.
And now that you know, and you've been at it, you know what, viewers? You guys are going to have Vicky's information at the end of this video. We need to make sure that we reach out to her and let her know that we want to see that redemption photo. Okay. Continue back with our interview.
Love it. Love it. Now
yes, we have to do that. We already know, had the snacks and everything.
Yeah, yep. Snacks are important.
Yeah, seriously, right? Wait for that new moon and get out there. Like,
yeah, yep. I got to do it. I will do it.
So with the images that you take, and I've seen all over Sacramento and so have you, and you know, I'm sure you probably have heard it, you know, people always say, what camera do you have? Or they ask, what camera? Because it has entirely nothing to do with us. It's the camera. You know, to you, what do you feel is indeed the camera that matters, the photographer's knowledge, or both?
I would think it would be the photographer. Knowledge is very important as well, but you have to get out there to be able to build your knowledge. So first, whatever camera you have, you have to develop an eye, and that is coming from the photographer. The photographer is the most important. And then you build up from there.
Okay, all right. Now, with you starting out with your film camera, when did you decide to upgrade?
Oh, wow. You know what? That's a great question, but I would think it would be Instagram is what was the catalyst for me wanting to upgrade. Just when I first signed up for Instagram, seeing all the beautiful images that people were able to capture and be able to capture them instantly. Instagram has definitely moved away from that, but that was probably what made me want to upgrade to digital, to the DSLR.
Which brand do you use?
I'm Canon, Team Canon right now. Yay, another
Heard
Team
that,
Canon.
everybody. She's Team Canon.
It seems like there's less and less of us out there now. You know, everybody's trying to
That's okay.
find another ship.
Like, whatever. Y'all just go ahead.
Yep.
Love Canon. Canon.
Yeah. I've always had Canon, even when I had like the little point and shoot cameras. I always had Canon because they were just the best in the business to me, at least.
Yeah, I love Canon. I've tried, I'm not even gonna mention the other brands, but I've tried the other brands, and there's certain feelings that I've had with them in my hands, and I just said, you know what? Keeping my Canon.
Yeah.
What do you enjoy the most about your photography?
I'm sorry. That's a good question.
Thank you.
Yeah, you have some really
I'm gonna sip my tea.
Go right on ahead. You have some really good questions here. What do I enjoy the most? I think what I enjoy the most, and this has been a journey for me, but I enjoy being able to capture beauty and sharing it with other people.
Okay. All right. And when you're out and you're capturing this beauty, what's that feeling that you get when you get everything the way that you want it? Kind of step us through.
Oh, yeah. That's the best feeling in the world. I mean, you're just like, yes, got it. When you have something in your mind and then you capture it in your head and then you capture it in your camera, there's nothing like that. It's just a feeling of exhilaration.
So do you pre-plan, or do you just kind of like, I'm out here, let me go check and see what's out when I can capture?
I try to pre-plan. If we're taking a trip, I try to pre-plan exactly what I want to capture. But for my work, I'm all over the place every day. I'm like working in a different area every day, so I'll try to just capture something that catches my eye.
Okay. And when you're taking a trip, I mean, a lot of us, that photographer of us, our trips or vacations is basically built around the photography.
Absolutely.
I'm not doing a spa. I'm not going out to the club. Is yours that way too?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. The spa doesn't interest me. My spa is getting a good photo. That's my self-care.
So you mentioned your husband. Is your husband into photography too?
My husband is also into photography. Actually, we've taken a lot of trips as a family, and we got our kids into photography as well.
Wow.
They've grown up being around both my husband and myself. He's not into it as much as I am these days, but my oldest daughter is actually just got accepted into her great dream college in HBCU, and she's going to be minoring in sports photography.
What?
So yeah, she.
Okay, Mom.
I know, right? I'm like, okay, that's a little bit of a path, but they both grew up with us, taking trips, doing photography. They got kind of bored with it for a while, but she got back into it in high school, and she just absolutely loves photography, and she wants to be a sports photographer.
Oh, nice. Well, she getting ready to get the real big the lenses.
Yes, absolutely. I told her you got to start doing some bicep curls, to get ready for
that. Seriously. So, I mean, wow. So the whole family is kind of like photography focused. Yeah. So let me ask you this. When it comes to landscape and nature photography, how do you feel that has contributed to the woman that you are today?
I think it has made me a lot calmer of a person. I know it sounds kind of weird, but just to be out in nature, I can appreciate just a small moment, I can appreciate a bird just flapping its wings. And it's just made me just so much more serene, just dealing with life, because, life throws a lot at you. It just made me, much more capable to deal with what's coming my way.
Okay. So, and you mentioned birds. So with your photography, and you post a lot of landscape. Do you also do nature? Oh, well, birds and wildlife as well?
I have gotten into some wildlife within the last probably 6 months or so, and I'm just starting with birds within the last few months. There's
Oh,
so many out there.
you
There's
know,
so many.
my daughter sent me a meme, and it said, "One day you are living life, and you can care less about the animals that exist. The next day you're out here, and you're like, is that a yellow-bellied wobbler? Is that a cardinal?" Okay, you got jokes.
Absolutely. Your daughter was right though. Absolutely.
It's like you look at a squirrel now, and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
that is wildlife. Look how cute.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
It
with
really
you,
opens up your world though,
it
it really
really
opens up,
does.
the world to the world around you. There is so much going on around us that we don't really see, but photography has enabled me to see that. So I'm really thankful that I have this craft.
Right. Okay. If money wasn't an object, where would you go for that picture that you want? And it's not
I
an,
would
it's like money's not an object to the point where it's like, hi Canon. Yeah, this is Vicky. Okay, yeah, let me get that so I can go. What would that
yeah.
conversation be like?
Yeah, I would definitely say send me to Iceland. Send me straight to Iceland. That's where I would go right now if money wasn't an object. I've seen photos and I've talked to people that have been, and the experience that they explained has really been unexplainable. It's just something they always say you have to see to be able to believe it and experience. That's exactly where I would go right now.
I'm with you. It's just like you said, it's just so many places in this world.
There are.
And it's just like, gosh, can I get like a lifetime times 3 so I can hit
Right,
it?
right. That's where I'm at right now. I'm like all the places I want to see. Like there's it's like not possible, But
Do the math.
yeah, like
Just give me an extra few lifetimes. Same
right,
age, but extra money.
right, right. Man, we have to figure out a way to be able to do that.
Mm. I'm trying. Now, unfortunately, I don't know, it's a good and bad when we went through the pandemic. I don't know about you, but for me, I was like, everybody is inside. Cool, no one's gonna be in the way. Wonderful. How was the pandemic for you and your craft?
Oh, well, it was very challenging in the beginning because the world just stopped and in an instant, it seemed. And it was, when you have a family, it's kind of hard to figure out what you're going to do. I was out of work for a few months during the early pandemic. So I could have had more time to perfect my craft. But there's this little thing like you were just talking about called money that if I could have traveled, I would. But I had my kids and they were figuring out schooling. It was just absolute chaos. So I would think that I probably started looking at photography a little bit differently from a mental health standpoint. Just being able to, I was talking about earlier about the serenity and just calming me down, just being in a moment and just stopping time. That's probably, I did a roundabout answer, but the pandemic actually enabled me to stop time and just be able to enjoy a moment. Just all the chaos that happened just made me see that, what, it's the moments that matter. And to be able to capture moments, it gave me a renewed sense of just gratitude to be able to capture small moments and big moments.
Right.
I don't know if that answered your question, but
No, you
that's
did. Yeah, you did. You're
okay.
fine. Would you say that you have developed your style, or are you at that point where it's like you can look at your image and you're like, that's mine? You know, everybody's gonna know that's Vicky's image right there. Or are you still working on obtaining that?
I think my style has changed so much that I think at one point I did have a style where people were like, "Yep, I know that's yours." At one point, I was really into silhouettes, and that was something that I love to do, especially around sunset time, get a silhouette of whatever your subject is. But I think I'm changing that. So I think I do have a style, but I'm also in the process of trying to look at things a little bit differently now. I want to do more minimalism. That's something that I'm really interested in capturing. So I think my photography may be going more to that genre.
And that's the beauty of photography. It's not like you have to, declare a certain subject or genre of it and you stick with it. It's like,
Absolutely.
You can change it. We grow,
Absolutely.
we evolve,
Absolutely.
You mentioned film. I was film. And
Oh,
look at us now. It's like, oh, mirrorless? Sure.
right.
What inspires you?
Probably the biggest thing is my family. They keep me going every day. Just the other day, my youngest daughter, she saw one of the photographs I took, and she just stopped and stared at it, and just her mouth was open. And I'm like, if you can impress your family, especially your kids, then you've done something. You've accomplished something, I could say. So especially teenagers. But yeah, I gotta say my family is probably, I get up every day for them. Out here working hard for them. And so they were probably my biggest inspiration.
All right. Let me touch on gear, because you had mentioned that earlier when you were going on that super hike. When it comes to gear, what is like your go-to, you have a favorite coat, not so much as camera equipment, but I'm talking about, the other things where people, kind of like, oh, I didn't think of hand warmers or hiking boots, so let's talk about that. What is your go-to gear when you're doing cold weather, or stuff that you also make sure that you keep with you when you're out, in California's heat?
Oh, yeah. I like a big puffy jacket. I have several big puffy black jackets that I keep, and they have a lot of pockets. So, I can keep all kinds of, SD card batteries just at easy reach for me. I just bought these cool gloves, and I bought them at a camera store, and they have the little area where you can take off the thumb part and your index finger part.
Yeah.
And those I've used them a couple of times, and those are pretty neat. I've had other gloves before, but these I think are better for when you're using your camera out in the cold temps. The hand warmers, those are like one of the best inventions ever, because my hands get really cold. So I always have those in my bag. For shoes, I always like to have I have these hiking boots that have a really good grip on the bottom, and that's good for no matter, if you're climbing up a mountain or if you're in some type of muddy area. Those are really good.
All right. What brand are the boots?
Oh man, I would have to look at them. I don't know what the brand is, but yeah, I don't know. They're just some hiking boots I got from a sporting store. So I should have had that ready for you, but yeah.
That's okay. Camera bag. What's your favorite camera bag? What is in and what is it about it that makes it your favorite?
Manfrotto makes my favorite camera bags. They have so many compartments, and being able to set it up the way that you want, that's a plus for me. I can keep my camera where I want. I can keep my SD cards, memory cards, CF cards, batteries, extra lenses. Being able to configure a bag to be able to carry all that is very important.
Okay. Tripod.
Tripod, I got to go with the Manfrotto again. They are my favorite tripod. They're just so sturdy, easy to use. They have withstood a lot. They've been in a river. But they're my fave.
Okay. You mentioned gloves, tripod, backpack, and we talked about shoes. What is the one of the items that you absolutely make sure is non-negotiable that you keep with you every time that you're out?
Can it be my camera gear or?
Doesn't, nope, not even camera gear.
Oh, okay. What I have to have with me every time is a lens cleaning cloth. It's small, but it makes a huge difference because you could get some dirt on your lens, and that is the absolute worst. So I always have to have my cleaning cloth with me.
Are you one of those people where you have like a bunch of cleaning cloths?
I have one that I use, my favorite one. So it's a microfiber cloth, and it's my favorite one that I use.
Right. Favorite, do you use like weather apps?
I use just like a basic weather app. Lately I've been using these apps, I think it's Sky Live, because I've been trying to catch that comet, but I haven't been able to. But it's kind of cool just to be able to see in the night sky, like the different planets that are out.
Yeah, that is when you get that new moon phase and you can see all of that.
Right.
And people don't understand because a lot of people are like, wow, I wish I can see that. I'm like, sure, go to a place where there's no light pollution.
Right. Yeah.
It's there.
Yeah, it's there. It's there. You can see it with your naked eye. Yeah.
Right. So even seeing the Milky Way, the first time I saw it, I was like, my mouth hit the ground, and I'm just like, wow.
Yeah.
What is your favorite season, or do you have a favorite season? That time of the year where your husband's like, your mama gone. She's gone
again. Yeah.
She'll be back in when this season's over.
Oh wow. Yeah, I would probably have to say spring. Just the renewal. It seems like the renewal of life. Everything comes alive in the spring. Everything is budding. There's so many different colors out there. That's got to be my favorite. But my second favorite is the fall, because we get a little bit different color, and those colors are just beautiful, and it's just amazing to see the colors change throughout the year.
Right. Because at this point it's like, okay, everything is dry and brown.
Right. Bare.
Summer is like everything is green and brown.
Right.
Hey, what advice would you give to someone that's just starting out?
The best advice would be to just get out there and shoot. That's what I always tell people. People are, ask me to mentor or ask questions about the gear. Just get out there and shoot. Everything else will come to you. There's so many different tutorials on YouTube and different websites that you can, if you want to pinpoint something exactly that you're looking at. But the best advice, get out there and shoot. You would develop your eye if you just point your camera somewhere and shoot.
Okay. What was your today self tell the yesterday Vicki that was getting ready to get into photography advice? What advice would you give your yesterday self?
I would say sometimes it's going to be hard. It's going to be challenging. You're going to have a lot of ups and downs, but you will capture some absolutely amazing sights, mind-blowing sights, and it will all be worth it.
When when the Black Female Landscape and Nature Photographers group started, it was just awesome to see more and more of us surfacing, because it's like you know, it's like we knew people, we're out here. Where are we? You know, so share with me, what does it mean for you to see people of color in this genre of photography, be it landscape and nature photography?
I would say that I was actually blown away when I first came upon the Black female landscape photographers network, because there's not many of us out there. I've been in rooms with people. I've been photographing events or conferences, and I've been the only Black person in the room. A lot of times I've been only, you know, in different rooms, I've been the only Black female in the room. So it's just, it's been wonderful. It's been wonderful to see that there's people like me out there that are capturing these beautiful sites, that are inspired by the same thing I'm inspired by. I thank you for starting the group and for bringing everyone together. We can share our images, inspire each other, encourage each other. So props to you. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, Keisha and I behind the scenes, it's like, okay. And I'm like, Shannon, yes, us again, please. I need to work on like American Airlines or some major or private airline. Can we get a group of us and go on a flight to Iceland?
Oh yeah. I'm there.
That would be amazing. We'll be back. Like, you can sleep when you get home.
Right, yeah, that's how it is, yeah.
Well, before we bring this interview to a close, is there any other tips, advice that you would like to give our viewers?
I would say one thing that I always say about photography is like life. Life is a journey. You're going to have some pitfalls, but you're also going to have some amazing moments. And that's the same thing in photography. Photography, you're going to be well rewarded for all the hard work that you put into it.
That right there. Well, for you guys watching this video, we have all of Vicky's information in the comments. You can hit her up on Instagram. Vicky, share with your website.
My website is photosbyvicky.net. PHOTOSBYVICKY.net.
All right. And you're on Instagram. Are you on
Yes, I'm on
social media platforms?
I'm on TikTok, just started TikTok. So we're seeing how that goes. That's Photos by Vicky.
Okay.
I'm also on Twitter. I share a lot of iPhone photography on Twitter. So that's photos_by_Vicky on Twitter.
All right. I'm gonna have to check out your TikTok.
Maybe give me some pointers. I'm just getting started there.
Oh, TikTok. Oh my goodness. I'm like, all of these social media platforms are like
right.
a job.
Right.
But
yeah. That's where that money comes in. Again, we need some
right. Like
no object.
Like, can I get some give me some money?
Yeah.
So viewers, please, you heard Vicky provide us with her information. Again, it's going to be in the comments. Please like, share, subscribe. Send it to everybody that you know. We are building this community. You guys know the routine. You're watching this on our YouTube channel. So please, again, like, subscribe, share, comment, all of the above. We appreciate you. And Vicky, we are so thankful that you allowed us to interview you and to let us into your photography mindset. And it's always a pleasure.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate this. I really appreciate all the work that you're doing, highlighting Black female photographers.
You are so welcome. Yes. We gotta let people know we're here.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. We out here.
We are. All right, everybody.